Yes, my viewers and subscribers, welcome to this day, Thursday, 19th of June 2025, where the Prime Minister of Jamaica will be handing over 5 keys to homeowners, one in Western St. Thomas and 4 in Eastern St. Thomas. So now he is arriving at the first location in Whitehall, St. Thomas. Yeah, man, it's really rich, you know. St. Thomas Police in there. You mean a white van here? No, hey, hello. See that? You mean another one there? With some point top? It was with some point top, you mean now? This one? The one here, me now? You mean another one here? The one you mean now? Yeah, that's in trouble now. Hey! Seen the now.
So in St. Thomas, which is usually a kind of low absolute area, so you would maybe have about a year, maximum 12 with that many.
Well, last year we had 20, but we are hoping to lower it by maybe 10%. So we're looking forward for a better year this year.
So where are you currently in terms of accident?
So in terms of murders, we are up by 1. We're 8 opposed to 7 last year. Our shooting has increased by 2, 8 opposed to 6 last year. And has also raped 7 close to 5 last year. So we have seen an increase in those areas, and we have employed various strategies to combat those activities that are taking place in some areas that are not known for violence.
Is it because of criminal migration,
Right.
or we have seen sometimes that gangs are just emerging in new areas because other areas are becoming unstable? What's the situation?
Definitely. We have seen an increase in migrant criminals. This is as a result of the proactive approach by higher command, dismantling and disrupting the organizations within our divisions. So we have seen persons as far as from St. James, which we have apprehended in the division. Last month, about 4 wanted persons we have apprehended so far. 2 of that are from St. James.
Interesting. So, the numbers are going down nationally, but there may be some areas which would experience slight increases, but this is not beyond your capabilities and capacity to bring under control. But I have every confidence in you and your team, and the next time I'm here, I'm expecting to hear that the
You will
numbers
see,
have
yes,
gone back.
definitely, you will see that.
Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you, sir.
Afternoon.
I want everybody to be very, very quiet so that you can hear our Prime Minister when he speaks. I want everybody quiet so we can hear Yellowman's family when they speak. I don't want to hear no noise. Please, because this is a special morning. I'm going to give you
Indeed.
one chance to make noise now. Welcome our Prime Minister.
One bro God, never two. Never two.
I have to make sure that our Prime Minister knows that the level of work he is doing is not one house. It is 3 houses ready today. 1, 2, 3. And the 3 houses are for people who deserve it. People who truly deserve it.
All right.
Let it be understood that what he, our Prime Minister, has done, he has created history. He has made us understand what it is to care. He has made us understand what it is to tell the truth in politics and leadership. I don't have to talk much, but all of you know what I stand for. We are going to use the example that this government has set to change St. Thomas, to change rural life. So it's not just urban life. And I'm not going to call nobody ghetto life or inner city. But I can talk about what we know in Whitehall. Urban life is very, very different in its challenges to rural life. And when a Prime Minister is bringing homes of quality and this standard to rural Jamaica for the needy, it is a change. That is the change. I don't want our Prime Minister to have to talk so loud. But he has 1, 2, 3, 4 more like this to do. He's coming from St. Mary last night, and he's going long into East St. Thomas. So welcome him again, and let us rejoice in what's being done in Whitehall.
Afternoon again, everybody. My name is Alicia. I'm the daughter of Jennifer. People can recognize me. The person who is in the house today. On behalf of my mother and my entire family, I just want to say a big thank you to all the persons who work tirelessly in the paperwork process and all the process in making this house what it is today. I just want to say a big thank you on behalf of my family and also to our honorable Prime Minister. Thank you so much for this kind gesture. My family and I are very appreciative. Thank you very much. One of the most successful and impactful programs that the government rolled out. And you can see Jennifer is testimony to that in terms of the lives that we are positively impacting. The beneficiaries here and for the others that we will hand over today, that the Prime Minister will hand over, are the there is no voice of dissent. There is no beneficiary fraud because of the stringent processes that we apply. The social investigation is done. The applications are thoroughly scrutinized by a project oversight committee.
Is a demonstration of the government's commitment to providing housing for all segments of the housing market. And there are some people who can go to the bank, get a mortgage, and buy their house. They have their deposit, they are fine, they qualify. There are some persons who are not able to go to the commercial bank all on their own. So those persons would need the support of the NHT to help them with reduced interest rates and various other programs to allow them to get access to the house. Then there are persons who they have just started. They may have a job, but they are young people. And even with the benefits provided by the NHT, they may still need some support. And then there are persons who have no income or very low income. And those persons may be elderly, they may be pregnant and lactating, they may be persons with disabilities, there may be persons whose house would be at risk of flooding and other weather events, and there may be persons who are destroyed by fire, they're not able to rebuild, and those persons would require what is called a social house. That is support from the government, which would amount to almost 100% subsidy of their housing or shelter. The range of social housing starts with the government providing drop-in centers for our homeless people. Minister Mackenzie is doing quite a bit of that on the local government, where we have built several drop-in centers in Kingston and Montego Bay, where homeless persons can go and get shelter, they can get a bath, they get food, and sometimes even medical attention. Then, again, under local government, we have a system of infirmaries. Right here in this parish, we have an infirmary where persons who are ill or who get old and are shut in, some of them, they can't move about,
They have no family to take care of them. The government provides that shelter. But then we estimate that there are about 6,000 houses in Jamaica where people live under the worst of the worst conditions. They may not yet be a candidate to be put in an infirmary, but where they live, you won't live there. You would say, boy, my situation is bad, but here is worse. And this is what the new social housing program is targeted at. Did you notice the persons who have benefited from the new social housing program? It is not just that you don't have the income to build a house, but we have helped quite a number of persons who are victims of domestic abuse, for example. Quite a number of persons with disabilities. Quite a number of persons who have been struck with illness, as in the present case. And we have assisted now, we have started a new dimension of the program, which is not just to transform a house in a yard, but to transform an entire tenement or big yard. And we have gone now 3 of those we have started, we have completed 1, and we have now 3 of those under construction. We will begin very shortly another dimension of this program, and this is a new social housing program for tourism workers, because you would know that the tourism industry went ahead of the development of housing for its workers. So in the traditional and conventional development of tourism in Jamaica, we built the hotels, and people from all over Jamaica went to work in those hotels, and then they found a way informally to settle. And so you have a lot of people working in the tourism industry who don't have any formal, settled, regularized housing. And so we're going to address that using some resources, again, from the Tourism Enhancement Fund, from the government central budget, and from the NHE, to start to help those persons who may be working in the industry but whose income isn't enough to get them into a housing solution. So I'm very proud of this program. And the reason why I'm proud of it, there have been programs like this before, but none of them have lasted this long. None of them have shown the endurance. None of them has had the commitment of the government's budget year after year after year. And what is important is that we have spent the time to design the project to over time. Can't do it all at once. But you will see that every week I'm doing this. Every week I'm doing 5, 6, 7. I soon gone up to doing 10 and 15. So the program is developing capacity. Now, as I say in Jamaica, everywhere you turn Macajo. You spend the time, you design the program well, then criticize. Then find something to say when you go something. Right? We are the ones who pointed out the 6,000 households, and we are going to put in place a program to deal with it. All of you can have faith that this is going to be done. They criticize, Lord, it's not going to take long. Well, before there was nothing. Now at least you see that the program is delivering step by step. Because no matter if everywhere you told Macajupio, always remember 1-1 Alright. So my point is well made too. So we no matter the naysayers. What we are focused on is filling that basket with hope where there was none before. And see the evidence of the things you hope for here? You see the evidence? That is called the substance of faith. So you can have faith in the government, and the government will deliver. Right? Good. So before we hand this house over to the deserving beneficiary, Ms. Jennifer Phillips and her family, of the daughters, I have a few requirements that we expect will be fulfilled to protect the public funds which are used to build this house. And those requirements are in a document called the social contract. The social contract says, right, Ms. Jennifer, that you're going to maintain the house in the state of repair that you received. Your daughter can speak on your behalf. Is that the case? Secondly, that you're going to live in the house. You're not going to rent it out or do anything like that. This is where you're going to live. Yes? That if further fortune were to smile on you and you want the luxury, for example, and you decide to go 1 story up, before you do any modification or alterations to the structure, you must first get in touch with the social element. Because the house is built on a specific foundation, using a specific building system, and you don't want to interfere with it without going to anywhere that is necessary to keep the house structure integrous. And then, anything you're going to do in this house must be legal. Legal light and legal water. Agreed? Alright. And then the most important thing is that you and your family will continue to be positive, participating, and upstanding citizens of the world. It would be a real tragedy if you got this house and then turned out to be a plague on the community. Right? So you must continue to be a symbol of hope. And every time people pass here, they're going to say, you know what? They deserve it, he deserves it too, and I'm sure mine is going to work. Rather than pass and say, them people never deserve it, and them deprive it. That is, so you have to maintain this positive attitude towards the community. Alright, so the clouds have covered the sun a bit, give me a little bit of relief. So we can now sign the social contract. Weakness while you're hyperactive.
Let's see if they sign it.
Everybody's ready?
Yes. 1, 2, 3.
Everyone's ready. All right, ready? Yes. There you go.
That's what I'm going to say now.
Go over, Vicky, can manage it? What's the biggest food
Prime Minister will put not even Mark Wally knows the food. Correct, please. Mark Wally knows the food.
All right.
This unit was built by the government of Jamaica under the new social housing program and handed over to Jennifer Phillips by Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, on June 19, 2015.
You know, when I look at this program, it is always a pleasure to see the system allows people in need to can own a house. It is always a dream for persons to own a house. And when our tax dollar can afford to give people a house, it gets no better than that. We thank the Prime Minister and all who involved for this program. I have seen people cry tears of joy for these houses. We give thanks.
My name is Tracy Newton. I am the supervisor and midwife for the Northwestern Health District that covers Seaport, Whitehall, Trinity, Cedar Valley County. And so this wheelchair that we are receiving today at the Whitehall Health Center couldn't have come at a better time. Sometimes we have persons who need assistance with moving about who comes to the facility for like blood pressure check or so. So this will be of great assistance in helping us to give them the service that they need. So thank you very much.
Well, you have to thank your Member of Parliament and your councillor who are so observant of the needs of their constituency. It is these small things that help to improve the quality of life. Can you imagine, you're going to the health center, you're not feeling well, and there is no wheelchair to help to escort you in. And these are just some of the small challenges that your elected representatives can assist with, and I'm very happy to see that the councillor and your Member of Parliament is doing their part.
Well, I am not going to speak after the Prime Minister. He has spoken. My only regret today is that he's not spending 48 hours with us. Yeah. That's my only regret. We have so much to show you.
Well, make use of the 6.
I'll tell you something. You see, today, this day and this day, me ever forget God thanks first. You understand me? And through his servant, because the Prime Minister is a servant of the Lord. And he has come through. Just look at this momentous task that has come through the Prime Minister. Looking at the people of Whitehall. We're in a rural parish, and look what is happening there. Do you saw the house? Yeah. Eh? Oh, it look to you. Beautiful. My God, man, this is prosperity all over. So we just want to say to the residents, that it was handover to take care, and it's a blessing, and it's a blessing from God. Blessings all you. Love you, the St. Thomas people. Love you, the most honorable Dr. Michael Andrew Holness. Blessings to the deputy leader. Blessings to the councillor. Blessings to all of them.
Dalby. So another one over in Dalby. But it will block up.
Yes, sir.
Zaza again, and Briggy again.
Yeah, man, we are dealing start, man.
They boat,
man. Bring the news to the people at St. Thomas, man. That's what the government are doing.
All right, Briggy.
Yeah. All my life, I never see them as from one government to St. Thomas.
Yes, viewers and subscribers, so we are in Dalby now, Dalby community, and the Prime Minister will be handing over keys to 2 houses in this community. 2 houses in this community. Today, history in the making for St. Thomas today. My viewers and my subscribers, so 5 persons would actually be getting keys to homes like these in St. Thomas Western, 1 in Western, and 4 in Eastern St. Thomas, my viewers and my subscribers.
Service I give problem
Then go back market it before and after. Dalby. I think Dalby. I think a Dalby, yeah. Dalby division. When lane name. One is a before and after shot.
Ma'am, you can put this on the table for me, please? Like the corner. Yeah, it was on it earlier. It's okay, I'll do it.
Sanjari.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It's a really good day today. I'm very proud to be a member of Parliament today, especially. I call her Lulu, back in 2019, and while walking, she brought me over to an area to show me where she was living, and it was an area that brought me quite a bit of sadness. And all she wanted from me at that time was to be able to give her a little bit of money to put a little one room together. And after 2020, when we realized that we had the social housing, and I said to her, if you can qualify, you would not only get a little funds to put together a little one room, because she had over 8 people living with her in a board house, and she qualified, and I was so excited for her. And today we are here today to hand over keys to someone who is a family lady and someone who's really deserving of this house. So I want to thank the Prime Minister, thank the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation for this. Today is a good day.
My name is Sanjari Sutherland. I want to thank the Prime Minister, my MP, and taxpayer, Jamaica, who paid the taxpayer. I want you to look and see the before and after difference. See the difference. This is what the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, under the leadership of the Prime Minister, who is the Minister of Housing, is doing. New social housing program, as I've said before, time and times again, is really one of the most successful and impactful programs that the government is rolling out.
date, we have constructed 293 homes. 45 or thereabouts are very near completion, and we have about 65 at various levels, just about to hit the procurement process. So in very short order, we are seeing a total of about 400 and odd houses being constructed. I say that to you to say that the program started off a little slowly because, you know, over time we would have developed the experience, we would have built the capacity, and so we are there now where we are able to deliver many more houses. As a matter of fact, we have moved from a timeline of construction of months, 4, 5, 6 months. Now we are down to 3.5 weeks. You know, if the terrain is not flat, then it might take a little longer time than the 3.5 weeks. But on average, we are giving out 4 houses per week, at least 4 houses. And in the months and weeks ahead, weeks and months, we are expected to double this amount, triple this amount by the directive of the Prime Minister. And the budget will be in place for it. In fact, the budget has been in place for quite some time now, and we continue to make a significant impact. We do have some challenges with the program. This particular modality, which is a single detached unit that Ms. Sutherland and her family will benefit from, persons have to come with their land. They either have to own the lands or they have permission to utilize the lands. And I want to emphasize that when this building, we are handing it over today, these units are the beneficiaries' units built on their own land, so it will not be taken away from them. So we are employing other modalities. We are relocating vulnerable populations as well, and we are upgrading tenements, what is called our multi-housing facilities. And we have engaged these facilities, and if you are reading and if you are looking and being wise and knowing for yourselves, you will see that the government is making significant progress in this area. So the project oversight committee is chaired by a technocrat and has many other government entities on it. And just to bring the point about the land ownership, just this month here, we were meeting, we had about 33 or so, Sakarge will tell you, submissions to look at. And while we were looking at them, we were seeing that almost 50% of these had problems where the lands are concerned. But not to worry, we're engaging the other modalities. We are looking in our land bank, because the government does as a land bank, lands that are owned by the Minister of Housing, lands that are vested in the Commissioner of Lands, that we are looking at to see how more persons can benefit. Meanwhile, we are going through the program, tightening up any areas that we've identified weaknesses with.
Thank you very much, Permanent Secretary. It is indeed my great pleasure to be in this community today to hand over this unit to Sandri. That's a lovely name, never heard it before. What's your last name? To Miss Sutherland, Sanjari Sutherland. Sanjari would have pointed out her housing situation before, and she is indeed deserving of the housing unit that is here. How many persons will be living in this unit with you? Yourself, you have your 2 kids. Before you were living with family, we're living in a small house. And so today now you are liberated essentially. You can have you're a happy lady today. So this is what we do. We build houses to improve the lives ordinary Jamaica. And we believe that everyone in Jamaica should have good housing. And Sanjari's situation was one in which everybody agrees that the condition would need some form of intervention. And that is why this administration made the commitment that we will build houses like never before in Jamaica. To date, since we have become the administration in 2016, we have started and completed just over 31,540 houses under the NHD. This is under the NHD. This has nothing to do now with new social housing program. Of which 21,166 have been completed. So over the last 9 years, we have completed 21,166 units. And we have, in terms of housing started and completed 31,540. So what that means is you would always have houses in some stage of development. So you could have housing that have been started and houses completed. So just to be clear on that, we have 31,540 houses that we have started, of which 21,166 are completed over the last 9 years of our administration. And that is a phenomenal achievement. But the real achievement is in the houses to come, because we have presently 7,692 houses that are under contract, meaning that between the NHD and the developers, they have signed agreements to start constructing. We have 12,207 units that are in procurement. We haven't signed off on them to actually build, but we are in negotiations with them to start. And we have 10,598 units that are in the planning and design stage, meaning that either the private developers are trying to figure out the design and where it must go on the land, or the NHD itself is doing the design. And we have currently 8,353 units under construction, and we have another 1,900, almost 2,000 units that are being done privately, which the NHD is funding, people who are building on their own land and so forth, and they're taking mortgages and so from the NHD. So if you take that into consideration, the NHD has about 40,631 units that are in various phases of development, and that would be probably the largest number of housing units that are either in planning straight through to construction. So what we have done as an administration is to increase the capacity of the NHD to undertake housing. What you will see happening going forward is that the rate of completion is going to be increased significantly, because if we have currently 8,353 units under construction, let's say it takes a year or two to complete, then clearly, next year you might see 4,000 units coming on stream to be sold on the market, and then the following year another 4,000 or 5,000 units, and then the following year you might end up at 5,000 units as those that are under contract go into construction, those that are in procurement, those move over into contracting, those that are in planning and design, they move into procurement, and so forth. So we have now established a very solid bank of housing developments which will now come to market, and that will have an impact on the supply of houses. Now, just to say quickly, much of the discussion around housing is to say we're going to provide housing, a housing grant for young people, or we're going to do a program of rent to own. And they all sound good. And by the way, these are things that we have already put in the public domain. We have already said these are things that we're going to do or have started. Many of them we have started. We have numerous programs under the NHD. But what is missing from the conversation is the basic. And whenever you talk about housing or anything else for that matter, there are two things that you have to pay attention. One is the demand, what you want. And the other is the supply. Where is it going to come from? So it's one thing to say, we will give you a rent to own program and you can just go in and occupy the house and you pay the mortgage that is the equivalent of the rent, and then 6 months after you get it. It sounds good, that's the demand. But where is the supply? Show me the house that you're going to give to somebody to rent to own. Where is it? Where does it exist? Okay? We will give you a grant to help you with the down payment on a house. Okay? Show me the house. Where is it? So some people come to you with good sounding promises. However, my administration, we put pen to paper, we go out there, we check, we look, we do the surveys, we do the work, and we are the ones building the houses. So yes, this administration will put onto the market through the NHD in the next 3 or 4 years 40,631 housing solutions as of today. And this will substantially have an impact on the shortage of housing. So while others are busy talking about what they're going to do on the demand side of the equation, we have been working to address the supply side. That is to make sure that you actually have the houses that you can promise. So some people are promising houses where none exists. And we are providing the houses so that we don't have to promise them. Right? That's the reality. Now, again, when we talk about housing, we have to talk about equity. So, if you want to give people subsidy, meaning you want to pay for a part of the housing, who should you help? Mostly with housing. You want to help everybody, but who should you give the greatest subsidy to? The poorest people. The people who live in the worst conditions. And that is why we have developed the new social housing program, which is this program, to identify the people who live in the worst of the worst conditions, and we give them subsidy. So it sounds good to say we will give a certain set of persons $500,000 to deposit on your home. But the question is, what about the other set of people who would also want that kind of benefit? How are you going to determine who gets that? And so these are some of the issues which are not quite clear. Because if you say you give it to persons 18 to 29, what about the persons 30 to 40 who have been working for how long and still can't get a house? You see, everything you do has an impact on some other group. So you end up favoring one group over another. Yes, I want public sector workers to be able to get as well, but there are people in the private sector who are saying, why, I've been working too, why can't I get that? And so these are some of the issues that you have to be very careful with. They will make these kinds of promises to you, but what they do is redistribute equity unfairly in the society, give one group an edge over another. And that is always bad policy and bad government. What you want to do is to have a full supply of housing. So it don't really matter whether or not you are in public sector or private sector house there. We have enough houses, right? So you would always find that when governments are not able to address the supply of the issue, then they turn on people on each other, and I will favor this group and ration the supply and give it to you for political benefit, essentially. And that is always bad policy. And that is what I see creeping into the discussion about housing, trying to favor a certain set of groups without addressing the actual issue, which is the shortage of housing. If you note, nothing has been said from the other side about how they are going to increase the supply of housing. All they have talked about is how they are going to redistribute the housing benefit to certain groups for political benefit. And Jamaicans must wise up to this. You need a government that can expand the resources, expand the supply, so that you don't have to be in contention and competition. So young people is competing with people who have been working for how many years. Poor persons who don't have the resources, they are now going to have to compete with persons who have. No, you don't want that. Expand the number of homes. And we have put here the program where we have 40,631 houses to come. This does not include the 21,166 houses that we have built already in our time as the government. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I hope my explanation has given some light to the discussion, and so you are now informed with knowledge to properly analyze the options that have been placed in front of you. And having said that, let us now turn our attention to this specific program, which already has added 293 houses to the housing stock. Not little houses. They are small houses, but they are substantial. They are proper houses. And we have 43 in addition to that is under construction. And we have almost 60 more to come in varying stages. And this program, yes, it is a small program because it's designed to treat with the individual circumstances. This is not a program designed to build a housing scheme. This is a program that is designed to go throughout Jamaica and find persons who are living in housing conditions, as you would see across there in the before and after picture. It's designed to address persons who are living in tenement yards. It is designed to address situations where persons' homes are threatened by environmental conditions. And this program has assisted so many Jamaicans, persons with disability, persons who have suffered domestic abuse, persons whose house was destroyed by fire, including acts of arson, persons who were living in a tree, I've seen that, persons who were living in cars, several cases. And what this program is, it is the conscience of Jamaica. That's what it is. To say that nobody should live below a certain housing standard. That is what this program is. So, it's taxpayers' money. And as I have said to another group, something might be, you might get it free, but it costs somebody else. And though you are not paying cash for it, you have to still pay for it in your behavior. So what justifies this house, it is not just your former condition, it will also be your future behavior. Because the purpose of giving you this house is to transform your life. And that transformation shouldn't only be internal to you, that transformation must be for the benefit of the community. Just by having this house here, everything in this yard is uplifted. Everything on this street looks better. Just by having this house here. But what if you turned out to be a plague on the community? Then the people in your community who are taxpayers would say, you see it? And this big you the house for? And that would devalue the community.
But if you were an upstanding citizen that participated in the community, you were a positive person who helped to resolve conflicts in the community, who people could come to you and you counsel, and you were a positive example, then everybody would say, you know, I want to be like you. And I see that you were fortunate to get one of these houses, I too will have faith. So that's one of the conditions, that you continue to be a person of hope, positive, law-abiding, decent and upstanding, and your children will also portray that. Agree? Agree? The other thing is that you see how the house look nice? When I pass back here next year or so and I want a glass of water, I must say, you know what, drive past the house there, because we wouldn't drink from the house there. Right? You must maintain the house in the condition or better than you received it. And everybody in the community must say, you know, she really take care of the house, you know. She's an example. Agree? Yes. And then, when I pass back here in a year or so, and let's say the house is in good condition, and I come and knock, and I say, Sandrine! Sanjari! I don't hear, no, she don't live here again. Oh no, I would say, Lulu! Lulu! And then I hear, no, Lulu doesn't live here anymore. She rent out the house and gone somewhere. No, that wouldn't work. Because everybody else would say, but you didn't really need the house. Right, you never did need it. So you agree that you're going to live there. Agree? And if further fortune were to smile on it, because you know you buy lottery and so forth. And you win the lottery and you decide you're going up 2 more stories on this building. Before you do any modifications to the building, you must contact the new social housing unit to get approval, because the house is built to a certain specification and you wouldn't want to do anything that will damage the house. And finally, everything that you do in this house must be legal. Legal light and legal water, no scammer, no harboring any gangster, nothing like that. Everything must be legal. Agree? If you agree to that, let us sign the social contract. So this contract is to protect the interests of the community and the public in this house. Yeah, good. All right, so let me stamp it. So the house is now signed, sealed, and delivered. I saw a comment on the social housing, and one of the comments was, "That be old people that get the social house. Young people want the social housing." And I agree that all the programs that we have must be equally servicing all demographics. So it must service people who are elderly and retired, people who are currently in the working population, and in particular, young people. Lulu is still right there at that age where you could consider young but not youthful. Right? Even though she looked like a little baby. All right? So yes, this program caters for everybody, and it does not discriminate on age, sex, religion, political affiliation, or anything. Once your circumstance is robustly certified as being in need and you are able to secure the land, we will help you in the construction of good shelter. All right? All right, very good. All right, so let's go and cut the ribbon.
Everybody's ready? After three, three.
So after leaving Dalvin, where he handed over 2 houses, or keys to 2 houses, we are now in Amitial, where he's going to hand over 1 unit to a family in this community. So therefore, he already did 3, handed over 1 in Western and 2 in Eastern. So this is another one. Then he'll be going to Style Out, Portmore and St. Thomas. I said, you take up an angle here.
Everybody's good? Bob is good. Alright, so this is house number 3 for the day.
No, 4.
4. Alright, after 4 then. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Ready? Here's your key. Alright, let's get the
Come on, come on. presently, this is the fifth house that will be handed over, and this is up by Stylot in St. Thomas, Eastern St. Thomas again. Yes, fifth house for the day handed over by the Prime Minister. So now we are in Stylot St. Thomas, where the Prime Minister will now hand over the final house, the fifth house of the day, and is handed over ceremony for these houses in St. Thomas.
All right, you don't really need no hug right now. But congratulations. Very good. What's your name? Shirley. All right, I have my handkerchief with me just in case. Don't worry, don't worry.
Good evening, everyone. Well, this is a good day. We're coming to the end. This is our last house to give the key to. 4 houses on the east side and 1 on the west side. You're blessed people. So I'm here with Miss Shirley. When I first met her, as you can see from the picture, her home, though it was full of love, was in a deplorable condition. And the nickname for this area is Big Yard, right? It's full of a lot of family members and full of a lot of love. So I'm very happy to be here today to see this blessing for her. And I'm going to let her tell her story.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. The most honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, Dr. Michelle Charles, my MP, I want to say thank you for what you have done for me. Because as you can see, the state of the house that I was living in was in a deplorable condition. It wasn't good at all for me and my young daughters. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you 100 million times for what you have done for me. And I think I deserve this. Thank you very much.
Why do you deserve this?
Because the condition that I was in never suitable for a human being to live in. So I think God is good, and I think I deserve this, and I thank you very much. And I want you to keep up the good work and don't stop doing good. Yes, I want to thank the taxpayers for what they have done for me, and good. It's very good. I'm so emotional right now. But as I say, thank you to everybody. Thanks to everybody that made this possible for me right now.
All right. Miss Bennett. All right, yes, you want to add a few words?
Yes, thank you, PM. You know, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm sure that we celebrate with you.
Thank you.
We see how this program, new social housing program, under hope, is bringing hope to persons, changing their lives. As a matter of fact, we were thinking and discussing that we will come back in about a year's time to look to see how you would have progressed. Because when we give these houses, it's really with a view to improving your lives, to pulling you up and giving you that dignity that you deserve. The new social housing program is targeted towards the most vulnerable in society. You would have heard her story. Frustrated. True. Yes, a single mother. And so when we come, my team at the ministry, they know under the directive of the Prime Minister that we are to bring these benefits to the persons in a very short time. So build more houses, deliver them at a faster rate, and that is what you're doing. The average time we're taking, 3.5 weeks. We have a complete structure here, well contemporary and modern as you can see. It looks proper. It is sound because the team would have come out, engineering team, and they would have looked to see what housing structure the soil can bear. So the investigation is done. To date, we have delivered about 293 houses. We have 43 units that are almost complete, and we have another 65 to come on stream very shortly. So it's over 400 and houses in a very short time, a significant achievement. And when we go and we see Prime Minister how this program conceptualized by you in 2018, how it is changing the lives of persons and bringing them home. And so even to retain the contractor, so we would have heard discussions about beneficiary fraud. But the more I come on ground, and sometimes I have to leave my desk, and I tell you, when these contracts come to me, I review them and assign them very quickly because we know that we are impacting lives. It is going to be highly improbable, I can say to all of you and to all of you who are listening, for this program to be in any disrepute. The team is very diligent. Dr. Charles, the social investigation is done. The technocrats come out and they look. They would have interviewed you as well. And they would have interviewed members of the community. So when we come now and the final product is here, after a series of events, everyone, there's no dissenting voice to say that the beneficiary does not deserve the house. One of the problems that we have, and I was telling an earlier group, because this is the fifth house that we are handing over today, is the matter of land ownership. That is what has impacted a number of persons who are interested in this modality, the single detached unit, because we do have two other modalities, the relocation of populations that are vulnerable, as well as the upgrade of tenements, the multi-housing facilities, we prefer to call them. But I'm going back to the problems that we have, and it's really the land, because the beneficiaries for this modality have to come with their own land, or they have permission through a deed of gift to use the land. And I want to dispel all myths that when we hand over the house to you, you will never see us coming back to say, come out, your house this. And this is how we are really breaking intergenerational poverty as well. Because you would have had your dependents. It's very likely that the house will be passed on to them. And so, just have hope for those persons who are looking on. Consult with your MP. Stay close to your MP because it's really constituency driven. So the applications are submitted by your MP to a large extent. That's how it goes. And then they come in, we scrutinize them. As I said, the social inquiry is done. We engage the procurement process to get a contractor in a very objective, a very, transparent way. So just have hope. Keep your hope up. One day, one day.
Thank you, Permanent Secretary. We are in the wonderful community of Style Hut, Port Morant in St. Thomas. Now, I don't think I've been to Style Hut before. I don't think I've visited Style Hut before. Pass through. But I did, yes. So I'm happy to be in the wonderful community of Style Hut. And I am in what could be called a family yard, a big yard. A big yard. So I can count in front of me 4 distinct housing units, one new construction going on right here. But as I entered, I counted maybe another 4 more. Plus you have more down there. So and more over that side. So on this piece of land, maybe 12 houses or more. Yes. So this is a true big yard. And obviously it's a family land, and all the members here are probably related in some way, shape, or form. And the housing stock varies. You have complete structures, and you have structures that are incomplete, and you have structures that are in good condition, and structures that need some help. Your structure was one of them that needed help. As you can see, this was what Shirley used to live in before, and now we have transformed it to that. Now, the new social housing program has several modalities, meaning several ways in which we provide the benefit. This is called the single detached unit. So it's a house
discrete by itself on a piece of land to which the beneficiary has the right to use. We, however, have started another modality, which is to develop what we call the multifamily units. And whereas this development here would maybe qualify, but not right now, what we are doing is to treat with what is called a tenement yard, which is slightly different from the big yard. This is the big yard because the houses here are all detached. In the tenement yard, it's a much more compact kind of living, and the houses are probably attached, but not in any structured way. And so we have 3 projects that we are undertaking right now. We have done a few more, but we have 3 projects that we are undertaking right now that will upgrade the tenement yards. And that modality I am very happy with. We're going to expand that rapidly. So in urban areas, this will work very well to upgrade areas that are blighted. Another modality, which is coming on stream very shortly, is the tourism workers housing, the social housing program for tourism workers. I had said earlier, and I wish to repeat it here, that when the tourism industry expanded rapidly in Jamaica, workers followed, but there was no formal housing for them. And so you would notice that right alongside the hotel strips, just across the road, would be developments that are informal because the people live in the informal communities and then go to work in the lovely hotels. And so what we're doing is putting in place through the Tourism Enhancement Fund and from the Consolidated Fund resources to build housing for persons who are working in the tourism industry but whose income would not bring them to the point where they could qualify to purchase a home on the open market or even qualify for a mortgage. So that's another modality that will expand social housing. And this program is a well-established, well-run program that whoever we select as the beneficiary, people will look on and say, I wish it were me, but they would say, I am happy that you got it because your circumstances were such that you deserve it. And that is what we have done here under the new social housing program. We have a few other things to do before we officially hand the unit over to you. Mainly, you have to sign the social contract, and the social contract essentially protects the citizen, protects the taxpayer's interest in the house. And I give a summary of it. There are some other legal language here that you may want to pay attention to, right? So, such as, for example, the beneficiary shall not lease, sell, or sublet, or assign, or otherwise dispose of this housing solution for a period of 20 years after the signing of this agreement without the written permission of the Ministry of Housing. So this is your house, right? But you should occupy it, use it for the benefit of your family, all right? You should not extend, alter, or otherwise modify the house without the approval of the Ministry of Housing. And this clause is important because the house is built in a specified way, and we would want you to do anything that would change the specifications or have it damaged. You agree to that? All right. And the housing solution should not be used for anything illicit or illegal. So especially we don't want to come here and hear that you have illegal light and illegal water. Right? Everything must be legal. And you should maintain the house in the state of repair that you received it. Agree?
So the next time I'm passing through Style Hut and I am thirsty, I am coming for Shirley to come have a drink of water. So, but the place must look good that I know that when I get the glass clean. Right, Shirley? So you're going to take care of the place, make sure it keep up. But the most important thing is that you agree to continue to be a decent, upstanding citizen of the community, law-abiding, an ambassador for hope, and a promoter of good in the community. If you agree to these terms, then let's sign. So you're signing here, and you're a member of parliament. All right, so we're gonna hand the contract over to you. Hold on to this now. Your house.
Space
All right. After 3. 3. All right. Very nice. All right. I want you to you can bring this for me. You can bring this for me. Show Bennett by this speed. Ready?
This unit was built by Government of Jamaica under the new social housing program and handed over to Shirley Bennett by Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, ONPC MP, Prime Minister, on June 19, 2025.
To win the prize.
Alright, so let's wait.
These guys to go in. Your host will. Alright, ready? You know we do. Blessings. Blessings. Very nice. Very nice. All right.